Welcome back to GTD, and as you might have caught on by now, we're doing multiple videos. So one for each sport. Already have the NASCAR and F1 drop. Baseball's out too if you want to hear us talk about the World Series and then some Scott Boras stuff. Now it is time for football. Are you ready for some football? I'm ready for some football. It was a great week in both college and the NFL. Let's start with college. Let's start with the big game of the week. Texas A&M hosted LSU, an LSU team that we've both been a little bit down on all season. And a lot of people thought they would come into Texas A&M, win this game. They did not.
Yeah.
A&M took it to them.
We saw this coming. I think exactly what we predicted happened. They can't stop the run.
They can't. Especially when the guy running against Marcel Reed.
Yeah. When the guy can throw and run the ball at the same time, they definitely can't stop it.
No.
So, yeah, when Marcel Reed came in, that was game over. LSU also, I'm not going to say it was just the play of Texas A&M. Now, their defense did do a great job in the second half, but LSU kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit during the game. Brian Kelly started to get on his players. Looked like it had an opposite effect.
Garrett Nussmeier threw it right to B.J. Mays twice.
Yeah, they had some...
B.J. Mays is an A&M DB.
They had some special teams blunders,
hit their holder in the chest with the ball, and that was all Kyle Field, by the way. Kyle Field was raucous. Ball was snapped. Holder went.
Yeah, the blackout game with Kyle Field paid off. Big win for the Aggies, who we have kind of talked about over recent weeks, just kind of being one of the better teams in the SEC, being one of the better teams in football.
This is one of my favorite teams in the country, right?
So I think I wasn't really sold on them because I knew they were going back to Wayman, but with Marcel Reed, I love them.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Do you stick with Marcel Reed going forward?
100%.
Okay, I completely agree. Marcel Reed played great for A&M when they played at Florida, delivered a win there. In this game, he is the reason they won this game. When he came in, they had touchdown drive, touchdown drive, touchdown drive, touchdown drive. That's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
And LSU had no answer for him. I don't think many defenses are going to have an answer for him. Has a rocket arm, super fast, and the poise that he played with. I know Kirk Herbstreit mentioned this a lot too, but just the guy didn't seem like a true freshman out there.
Yeah.
Seemed super experienced. I loved his interview after the game. Such a poised individual.
Very, very mature young man.
Very mature young man, and we say that like we're not the same age. Did great job from Marcel Reed overall, and A&M. I can't wait for the playoff rankings to come out because the fact that they're still like in the back half of the top 10 is, in my opinion, a travesty. I think they should be much higher than they are right now.
Than Tennessee.
I would completely agree, but we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. Next up, let's talk about Notre Dame, who committed treason over the weekend by killing the Navy.
So, be put in jail, but instead of jail, they'll be put in the college football playoff to probably be eliminated the first round. However, defense, great. Navy,
horrible.
Let's work on the...
let's not turn it over six times.
Yeah, let's work on the turnover thing. Not even interceptions.
Like I was watching Auburn.
Yeah, it's not even like their quarterback just kept, throwing interceptions. They fumbled so many times and crucial. Every time they fumbled, it was like a crucial play.
Notre Dame would go down the score, and Navy, Navy's going to drive, and they fumbled.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame scores. Yeah. Navy's got the ball, Navy's in the red zone, and they fumbled.
Yeah.
And it was just that the entire game. They could not get anything going down in the red zone. They would just give it away every time. And 51-14. Goodness.
Yeah, so Navy, let's work on that. If you're Notre Dame, though, you gotta love the defense. There's nothing to not love about the defense. However, I still am not sold on the quarterback play in this offense. I think it's good enough to not win their conference because they're not in one. I think it's good enough to make it to the playoffs. Maybe as from your 8th back, I don't see them being top 8. With some of the talent we have, but they're going to be in a difficult situation in the playoffs.
I think it all depends on who they match up with.
I would agree, but I think he can. I think Ray Leonard is talented enough, and obviously he's in a new system. He's been at Duke forever. Now he's at Notre Dame in a new system. He's going to figure it out. He has slowly figured it out and gotten better. The last 3 weeks have been way better than the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's getting better. He's got a long way to go to the playoffs. So I think, if he can start hitting his strides better, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I think they can. We've seen him beat A&M, and I think they could beat a Tennessee as well. It's kind of grind you out defensive type teams. I think they match up well there. I think if you stick them versus maybe a Clemson or Miami, maybe they have a problem. So we'll see what happens in Notre Dame unless we get to the end of the year. But Also, speaking of teams near the top, both Ohio State and Texas really struggled this weekend.
Oh, Vandy was so close.
Yeah, let's talk about that first. Your vibes were not as good as my vibes. Let's get that out there first. Your vibes are not as good. And
it wasn't in. Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah,
not an excuse.
It wasn't in Vandy. Honestly, I think Vandy could have won this game if Diego Pavia didn't go and just float the ball into the air a couple times. Yeah. Played great, other than that. But just the two big mistakes of just lobbed it into the middle of nowhere and it got picked off. And this is a game I think if you're Vandy, you really needed to take advantage of because they played so well. Other than just a couple mistakes, and this is a much better Vandy team than we're used to seeing. I have no idea how Missouri is still ranked in 25th and Vandy is not.
Yeah, I get
I get they beat them.
Vandy's got the 3 losses.
And Missouri has beaten Vanderbilt head-to-head. I get that.
And that one Vandy loss looks bad to Georgia Southern.
It's Georgia State. But if you stick these two teams side by side, like how on earth do you say Missouri looks better than Vanderbilt right now?
The AP poll, if you haven't heard, not great this week. Who cares? We're almost getting to the time where
it doesn't matter.
CFP rankings come out, and that's what matters. So be on the lookout for those. SMU and Duke, they had a little.
This is a fun game. If you didn't tune into the SMU and Duke game, well, first let's talk about Ohio State because we're gonna brush past that. But
okay, Ohio State struggled
with Nebraska. Dylan Raiola did not play well through a game-losing pick, and Ohio State didn't play well either. They only ran for 64 yards and. They basically won this game because of their receiving corps. Carnell Tate had a great game. Jeremiah Smith with the late go-ahead touchdown. But if you're an Ohio State fan, how concerned are you moving forward into this Penn State game? And then maybe if you have to play Oregon again.
I think you're a little concerned moving into Penn State. I think they're fine. I think they beat Penn State. Oregon, I don't think they match up with Oregon again. I think if they play Oregon again...
Conference title game.
Well, no, I'm saying I don't think they match up in the game with them. I do think they play for the conference title with Oregon, but I don't think they kind of hang in like they did before. I think Oregon, after playing them once, kind of just beats them the next time they play.
I think they don't play them again because I think Indiana beats them.
You think Indiana beats Ohio State? Or
yes, I think they beat Ohio State and make the conference championship game.
I can 100% see that as well right now. I mean, they just have not been clicking like they should, and you could argue whatever you want about that, but... yeah, I mean, they've really got to figure it out. And I think this week is going to be a big test for them. They had the big test against Oregon. Came up just shy. Here's your second shot. Let's see what you got against a really good team. And Nebraska, I mean, they're a good team. I mean, they're 5-3, 2-3 in the conference, but I mean, they've had some tough.
They've been solid.
Team. Yeah.
But let's talk about that SMU Duke game now. And this was a game. If you didn't watch, it's hard to explain. SMU turned the ball over 6 times. Duke didn't turn it over at all. This game was at Duke. SMU won in overtime. Duke went for a last-second field goal to take the lead and win the game at the end of regulation, and SMU blocked it. The SMU quarterback, Kevin Jennings, threw 3 picks and got hurt in this game. On paper, there is no way that SMU should have won this football game, but they did anyway. And that's the kind of win you need if you're going to try to be a ranked team. You need to really grind this out. They moved to 7-1 now, right near the top of the ACC. I think they're 4th right now behind Clemson, Miami, and Pitt. So they're playing very solid football right now. And they get a shot at Pitt this weekend, so we'll see if they take advantage of that. But
speaking of Pitt, they put Syracuse in the water and held
Syracuse.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So... yeah, sorry, Syracuse.
Yeah, rough game from Kyle McCord throwing 5 picks. Although from Pitt, you lose Eli Holstein potentially with his injury in the 4th quarter. That's not great.
He's been playing very, very well.
He's been good for them all year. And then the final game in our recap right here, let's talk about Alabama, Missouri. And I know we briefly mentioned Missouri, how terrible they look, but good. Next.
Yeah, this was a good bounce back. We know Alabama's needed a bounce back win like this. They got it. Still some things in the passing game that need to be ironed out. But they got the running game underneath them this week, which is really what we said needed to happen first. And it did. Defense, amazing job. I love the job that Ken Womack did. Taking his second string defense off the field, putting his first team defense back on the field to make sure Missouri doesn't score to keep the shutout. I love that mentality. That's Alabama football. Say what you want. That's what they need to do to get their confidence back if they have any shot moving forward this season.
Yeah, I tell you what I like for Alabama in this game. It was Jeremy Bernard actually leading this receiving corps.
Yeah.
He is your experienced presence. You bring him over from Washington with Kellen DeBoer, and you can't let your entire offense run through a 17-year-old, no matter how good he is.
Well,
You
it's like their
need
game plan was
experience.
just push it to him as quickly and
Yeah.
fast as possible. It's like
You need experience to lead your receiving room, and Jeremy Bernard has really been in the last few weeks. He's really stepped up, and I think that's going to do wonders for Alabama down the stretch. As far as Missouri, holy cow, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Brady Cook is injured, and without him, they are nothing.
Yeah.
Drew Pine is awful.
the SEC.
He picked Oklahoma State, who's on 5 in the conference as well. We both missed horrifically at
Yeah.
one. So
But we
I-
weren't
I
talking
at least-
about Oklahoma State.
yeah,
We were talking about
I at least tried to have fun. So we can say whatever you want to.
Vandy over Texas is fun.
And you got it wrong.
And BYU is also fun.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that one wrong. BYU is getting a bye in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I also, quick thing on Eli Drinkwitz. The fact that he's telling Alabama defenders, if I had my quarterback, we'd be in this game. Stop.
You had your quarterback. You weren't in the game.
Yeah,
Moving on.
chill. Last team here I want to talk about is Colorado. Colorado's been on a good stretch recently. They just beat Cincinnati, and they keep climbing right up those Big 12 standings. Let me tell you what.
Playing good ball.
They're playing very good football right now. They're 6-2, and I know it's very popular to hate on Deion Sanders in Colorado, but if you look at that team right now, they slaughtered UCF on the road. No, UCF isn't great. They had the close loss to Kansas State, who I think is the best team in the Big 12 right now. I know you're going to say BYU. I think it's Kansas State. Then the win at Arizona, 34-7, beat down. And then Cincinnati came into this game at 5-2 as well, alongside Colorado, and you get a convincing win at home. So I think that going into the bye, this team is positioned really well. They're 4th in the Big 12 right now, and they're tied for 3rd at 4-1. So I think they definitely still have a chance to win the conference this year, and it's been very impressive for me this season. So
No, I agree. I've been saying they've been playing good football as well. I'm excited to playing good football. This is what they needed to see from the beginning. They're here. The heat's kind of off of them. I mean, they lost a few games at the beginning, so people were like, oh, whatever. They're watching Colorado, hating on Colorado. So it's really give them time to refocus, regroup, and kind of get form back under them, and they will be back in the public eye very, very soon before the season's over.
yes.
But moving on to NFL, we have some very cool things to talk about.
A Hail
including
Mary!
The Jaden Daniels. How far on the air was it? 55,
A long
65
way.
yards?
Long.
Like 60, 65 yards in the air. What a cannon. Didn't really even step into it, honestly.
You just watched it?
Watched it. Got a cannon. Tipped off a defender.
Thank you,
Into the hands
Tyree
of the-
Stevenson.
Into the hands of the Commanders
Jordan Brown.
in the end zone. But you mentioned him. Not a good look. Ugh.
Tyreek Stevenson, former Miami Hurricane. Is that relevant? No. By the way, it was Noah Brown that caught it, not Jordan Brown. I don't know who Jordan Brown is, but his name is Noah. So, Tyreek Stevenson, as the play starts, is facing the Washington crowd going, yeah, we beat you, you guys are terrible. Probably not saying those
That's
exact
exactly
words.
what he was saying.
Yeah, and so behind him, the play is happening. The receivers are running towards him, and the Bears fans are going, look at the play! Look at the play! And Tyreek goes, oh, play's happening. And so runs over to the Hail Mary. He's like, I gotta knock this down. Jumps up, tips it, bow, right to Noah Brown.
Yeah.
So thank you for the assist, Tyreek Stevenson. You're lucky your pass into the Bears facility still works.
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna say you're lucky you still have a job.
He's a solid player. So
Yeah.
But great game. This game, I think that I did not expect Jaden Daniels to play this game. I saw that he was a week to week, so I guess they were just like, hey, go ahead. But he played solid football. Terry McLaurin, again, over 100 yards, continues to be a great player. And
I love what Dan Quinn's doing there. And
they're 6-2 right now.
winning.
Yeah.
It's called winning football. I know you're new to this, Washington football fans. It's called winning.
Winning.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, they're still ahead of the Eagles. Eagles sit at 5-2 after a win over Cincinnati, and it's got to be panic time in Cincy right now. 3-5, 0-4 at home. One of your wins is over the Patriots. I think their other wins are also against pretty bad teams,
Jaguars.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, Jaguars. And
They do
no,
have.
it's Panthers. Wrong cat team.
Okay.
It's Panthers, Giants, and Browns are the teams that they've beaten. So yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah.
They lost to the Patriots. That's right. They lost to the Patriots week 1. So
Yeah, that was the
they've beat the Panthers, the Giants, and the Browns, and this defense is horrific.
Yeah.
So
It's not good.
Bengals fans, panic time. Jets fans, I'm so sorry. Depression time is back once again for the Jets. They lost to the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers has brought in his entire group of friends, and they're still bad. It's Jets gonna Jets.
Yeah, the experiment is come to a close. Not the way you would like to see it. I just, I don't know. I guess he's just old.
I guess. Gonna catch up to everyone eventually. But
teams that are in depression mode, Detroit Lions.
holy cow.
Record-setting win against
50
Cowboys.
14.
Follow that up with another 52 bomb. I mean,
Against the Titans this time. Titans are bad, but still. Jahmyr Gibbs played incredibly in this game. Jared Goff continues to play great football. 3 touchdowns, no picks, 12 of 15. This team just, it feels like they can do no wrong right now as they sit at 6-1, and this NFC North just is so tough this year. But
Yeah.
then finally, San Francisco 49ers beat the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, who would have foreseen the Cowboys losing the 49ers? No one would ever predict that. Yeah.
but yeah. And then after the game, Trayvon Diggs get into it a little bit with a reporter. So a lot of high tensions, especially now. So, I mean, you can obviously tell why there's high tensions at Dallas. Defense hasn't been great most of the year. Dak's been pretty abysmal. 9 interceptions so far in the season.
It is bad.
So after getting a contract like that, you expect more. Kind of said you're not going to get more from him. It's kind of Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Although, on the bright side for this game, if you tune in to our draft coverage way back in March and April, you would have known about Isaac Guerrero, the 49ers running back, a guy that I really liked in the draft this season, was a freak athlete, and what do you know, he's playing good football for the 49ers right now. Finally getting the bulk of the carries, ran 14 for 85 yards and a touchdown. I'm super happy to see this guy doing well because he is such a good player.
yeah. But as far as recapping goes, those are the major highlights from the NFL and the big games from college football. Tune in on Thursday to see our picks for the upcoming college football slate. Got a few exciting games to talk about there. Like I said, Ohio State, Penn State. You can find out more about it. But yeah, tune in.